welcome to another episode of the TikTok podcast. And today we're talking all about friendship. Recently, it was the World International Best Friend Day, and I felt, well, it's up. If it's Best Friend Day just around the corner, just left us. Well, maybe we should talk about friendship, the dynamics of it, how friendships are formed, how they break, how actually. There's this thing that people always talk about friendship between men being rather weird. I was just watching an Instagram video of someone dropping off his best friend at the hospital, and the only answers he could provide is the best friend's name, last name, and yes, he's married. Every other thing he didn't know. Wife's number he didn't know. But I feel like between guys there's a particular idea of what male friendship is like. So let's talk about that. Anyway, so welcome everyone. Welcome again to the TikTok podcast. My name is Innocent, and with me is Clinton and Tomiwa. So I took the thunder from them. I didn't let them introduce themselves this time around because I don't want to do that. So Tomiwa and Clinton, let's get to it. So let's start with how have you been able to, how have you guys been defining friendships? How is friendship the same thing across board for you guys?
Friendship is dynamic. I have close friends, like most people, obviously. Then I have acquaintances, and then I have people who have like working relationships with, where essentially like a relationship is defined by utility, right? So I engage with them when they're useful, they engage with me when I'm useful, and the dynamics work. And I think that the reason why I'm I'm able to easily delineate these types of friendships is that I think it's a male thing where we have very low expectations of our friendships. Anything beyond the just show up, right? Is That's it, to be honest. As long as the person can show up, or rather, there is a so I like to think that there's a reliability meter with our friendships. We don't acknowledge it, right? But we know certain friends, and we know, okay, this person is 70% reliable, this person is 50% reliable, this person is 100% reliable, right? And then based on that reliability meter, essentially, we then frame our expectations of that person. So when we need that person to show up, and we know, okay, this person is very reliable, we know 50% of the time they won't show up, but the other 50% they will show up and they will show up. Anything less than that, that is where problems or cracks will begin to show in a male friendship / relationship. Anything more than that will engender us to become closer and share more. Getting to that point is pretty straightforward and easy. I have people who I met 20 years ago playing football that I wouldn't go as far as saying that we are close friends, but I can call them up and say, yeah, okay, so I need this thing and it just so happens to be in your area. Can you help out? And I don't need to go through the hoops of explaining who I am or trying to define our friendship or, giving them prep time to like warm them up before and things happen. So it's dynamic. Dynamic is the word for me, at least.
Yeah. So there's this song. Who sang this song? Was it Don Williams or Kenny Rogers? Friends I can count on one hand. A little bit, with a leftover finger or two. I took them for granted, and where they are now, what I wish I knew. Anyway, some song like that. But I've always thought about that song. And then there was a Kenny Rogers song from his last album before he died.
He just then keeps exposing his real age.
No, but there was this Kenny Rogers one from recently from his album before he died, which was just like a couple of years ago. I hope. Where he sang, "You can't make old friends." So for me, kind of, right, friendship has kind of always been like in different phases and stages, but then there's always that sense that if once they be always the, like if you've been a friend before, unless you actually had a fallout, so the person is still a friend. So long as we didn't like have a particular fallout, then there is nothing lost. It's just a thing of tides of time pushing us up, taking us apart, and when it's time for time to also bring us back together, we're able to pick things up from wherever they are, because everyone is going through shit at any given moment. So that's kind of sometimes the way I approach it, and it's not. So for me, right, the concept of best friend doesn't exist. because it's more like for every given moment there is a certain level of needs that every friend fulfills in your life and you fulfill in your friend's life. A certain level of it could be a companionship, acquaintanceship, because very varying levels for me. So there are good friends and there are old friends, at least in my books, but there are no best friends in my books. So for that also, but I think, in a sense, I do think like the idea of fair weather friends and ride or die friends could exist. Like there are some of those friends that they'll go to bat for you, right? And there are some that listen, we can introduce ourselves as friends to a third party, but beyond that, nothing.
Yeah. Is friendship for me is like Tomoa said, reliability is like, I think male friendships at the very basic level, at the fundamental level, that reliability is very important. I remember that I had to cut off someone who I considered a friend some years ago because he became such an unreliable person. And it wasn't just about like me and like showing up for me or anything like that. It was more about him just being an all-round unreliable person with everybody. And it became a trait, became a personality thing, and became something that he was known for, being this person who just isn't reliable. And because I was close by, I was within the blast radius of that. And there's a point where you get to you first when you first start, you're trying to save people. You're trying to, well, you still believe in what made you friends in the first place and what brought you close, and you're still holding on to that. But there's a point where you have to now recognize sometimes that, yeah, this person is gone. This is not the person I once knew, and all of that. And that kind of made me have to like detach with time, because I realized that, yeah, this person is never going to change, and this unreliability is going to keep putting you in harm's way. And I had to like take myself out of that situation altogether, because also it kept putting me in different terrible situations, to be honest. But the point I'm trying to make is that at the very basic level, being a reliable person is very important in male friendships. We carry it on our heads. It matters, right? We want to have, I mean, I think generally you want to have friends that are reliable, friends that, that, you know what, even if you're not riding and dying with me, at the very least I can count on you at certain points and know that you're going to come through. And because also me, I'm going to come through for you no matter what. Like, when push comes to shove, I will, step in there. So I think at basic level for male friendships, reliability is very important, but also I think an alignment of values most times. But another thing though is that there are certain things, values and beliefs and all of that, that we cannot expect from everybody, right? Views on certain things. We can't expect everybody to see it the same way as we do. But then there are some, so we don't cut off friends or end friendships over things like that. But there are some fundamental ones, some values and principles that are too important, that we have to we have to prioritize those things. And if we and our friends don't, or our supposed friends don't align on those things, then the friendship isn't going anywhere, because at the end of the day it's going to be problematic. So I think friendships are also about values, shared values, principles, things that we consider important, that we prioritize. Those things are key. And if we don't align on those kind of things, I mean, it changes from person to person. Different people have different things that they view as absolutely important, too important for you to compromise on those shared values. Because when you are in spaces with those friends, how do you relate? How do you go through life? Because those things will come up every time, and it can cause resentment. And at the end of the day, you just realize that it's not worth it. So I think friendship is reliability, at least male friendships, reliability at fundamental level, but also shared values, principles, and just things that, I mean, if you have a friend that doesn't have principles at all, I don't know, but for me, it's a problem. I need you to have a standard, to have standards, to have values, to have principles. that's when we can now even think about whether they align or not. At the very basic level, you should even have a code that you live by. Like Omar from The Wire says, every man's got to have a code. I cannot be friends with someone who does not have a code that he lives by. You know, this is what I'm about. This is it. You get. So yeah, I think that's basically it for me.
So quick one, Toma and Clinton. So I saw this tweet. It's kind of, when they said the algorithm is doing its own thing. So I'm gonna read two tweets from two different people from you. One is a two-part tweet, like is in 2 pages, is in two tweets. So the person writes, I really truly thrive in low maintenance friendships, to be honest. Life gets in the way of constant communication. Do your thing while I do mine, but never ever hesitate to reach out if you need me. It's really why making new friends as an adult feels like hard work, because you need to put in effort to maintain new friendships. Someone else, okay, this tweet came like a couple of months before that. The person writes, my hot take is that the low maintenance friendship where you talk once in a while, the low maintenance friendship you people claim is the best thing, still exists only because of you. It's only because you have other friends highly maintaining your emotional needs. If everyone in your life chooses to talk to you once in a while and you had no one you are constantly texting or talking to, you will be miserable. So these are like two different ends of it. What do you think?
I think the truth lies somewhere in between, right?
Yeah.
I do agree actually that there's somebody who is putting in a lot of effort to maintain any friendship at any point in time. There's somebody. But on the flip side, I also think that the OP's assertion is very true. It's difficult enough to live in today's world. You are constantly bombarded by 1,000 things. WhatsApp alone is a scourge in and of itself. So I get it. It's like the world is a little bit too much. So I think the truth lies somewhere in between. And I'll use my own example. So me and at least I'll say my closest groups of friends, we have a again, I'm sure that people will get tired of me using the word framework, but yeah, what we did essentially is we set up a group on Instagram, right? An Instagram group where we send each other memes, and it just so it's different when you're sending it to 5 different people, or than when you're within a group where everyone is, and you know that okay, these are the things that resonate with us, and people connect with these things, and people engage with that group. Then we also have a group on WhatsApp. I just abused WhatsApp, but it's useful, right? We have a group on WhatsApp. I would have preferred if the group was on iMessage, but not everybody uses iOS.
Fuck iMessage and iOS.
Anyways, we have a group on WhatsApp, and we tend to use the WhatsApp group for the more important stuff. So, wedding announcements, someone's lost someone is having like a big milestone event, someone launched a product or something and then wants everyone to like share or engage with it. We use the WhatsApp for that. So, in a sense, you see the high effort part of things, we are using those frameworks or systems to carry the load for us, right? And then at every point in time, the low effort side of things, which is just sharing your life events or sharing your updates or engaging with a person part time, depending on the need, or sometimes even going into a group and being like, I need somebody who sells pure water in mile 2, and then someone comes up with a solution, right? That's how. So everyone is helping each other lift the load without putting the burden of maintaining the friendship on any one person. How that applies to like a strict 2-person friendship, I don't know. I won't go as far as saying it because I understand that the dynamics of friendship are different from the dynamics of a romantic relationship, and the same rules don't apply. But at least in my own case, I know for a fact that as much as we can, we are very, at least I like to think that we are healthy enough within my friendships.
But Toma, is it possible, Toma Clinton also weighing on this, is it possible that we sometimes use group friendships as a cross to lean on, as a medium to avoid the intimacies of one-on-one friendships? Because in one-on-one friendships, there is a certain in-depth you have to go, at least from my point of view. But sometimes when it's group, that it feels like it's spread around, so you don't necessarily have to go so in depth in things. It's like you feel like, oh, the next person should know, the next person should know, even though nobody knows, those kind of things. So is it possible, at least for example in your case, and I know a number of us do it, but is it possible that human beings sometimes use the idea of group friendship, like the boys, the girls, kind of a thing, to avoid the intimacies and the vulnerabilities of a one-on-one friendship kind of situation? Clinton.
Okay. I think, yeah, we do that. I think we do. Because the truth is, I think social media has changed, not just social media, the internet. The internet has changed everything, right? So before, you had to do phone calls, with your friends,
To connect.
just to connect, right? You had to see them, all of that. They were not as accessible. But now, you can keep up with me and my life. You, c- you can keep up with me and my life like every day. If I'm posting every day on Twitter, you may not reach out and say hi, how are you, or anything. But the first thing is, somewhere at the back of your mind, because you are seeing me every day, there's a certain illusion of he's right there, right? He's right there where I'm seeing him. He's okay. I'm checking on him in a way. I feel like it happens to me too. I look at like people around me, my close people and everything. Sometimes there's always that illusion of this person is right there, right? Okay, so this person is fine. This person is tweeting today. You get, so I now feel less compelled to reach out and say, how are you today? Every day, because I'm seeing the person tweet, I'm seeing the person post nice pictures and have fun on social media and all that. So in a way, I'm just kind of satisfied that this person is fine, right? So I'm not reaching out to check on the person per se because I'm just mentally feeling like the person's fine, and that's kind of even caused problems with my friendships because I'm like, so you're seeing everybody. So the kind of things that you are going to need out of friendships, one-on-one friendships, that require you to, or that kind of build that
Mm.
bond in one-on-one friendships, are already being taken over by like social media. Social media is causing you to not need to do that. So now, if you want to build a one-on-one friendship, first thing is you reach out like every day, right? Oh, hi, how are you today? What's going on with you? You are keeping up with the person. It's from there that the bond gets like stronger. But you no longer have to do that because you are seeing the person every day tweet. So maybe if before you would have reached out maybe every 2 days, because of social media, you're probably going to reach out maybe once every 5 days because you just feel like you are aware that the person is fine. So there's less need to be that um present in like one-on-one conversations. That's not particularly a good thing. And also because of WhatsApp, everyone is like right there. WhatsApp has given us too much access to ourselves in a way that I think sometimes friendships are
I
supposed to
don't know
be.
what you people are talking about. People keep on talking about WhatsApp, WhatsApp, WhatsApp.
Oh,
I don't use that thing.
WhatsApp is
You people just keep on
that's
talking
you.
about WhatsApp. And that's the thing. You talk about it as if you can choose to not to use WhatsApp. Sorry, here's my point with that. Yes, there's a certain familiarity that comes with the idea of. I'm not just talking about WhatsApp. I'm talking about IMs in general, right? Like the
Yes,
idea of instant messengers on the social networking spectrum scale. But you could choose not to use them. You could choose to to be traditional in your friendship pattern. You could
you
literally
can.
choose to also do
Yes,
let's write emails to ourselves, right? In that
yes, I do
sense.
that.
But so is it fair to blame a medium? Something that is just a medium, is it
No,
fair to blame it when it
no,
is more about the way people have as adopted or practiced with the medium? Because the
I'm not
ideas of
blaming the medium.
IM, social networks general, be it IM or social media, they can help you
I'm
keep a
not. I'm
better
not
friendship.
blaming.
But the way
I'm
it
not
has
blaming the
degraded could
medium.
be based on behavior.
I'm not blaming the medium. I'm saying that
Mm-hmm.
the medium has changed expectations. Do you get
Mm.
expectations? So now, if it was before we were using WhatsApp and all of that, and we just had our phones, if I don't call you or if I don't text you, if I don't reach out in 3 days, it doesn't
We're
feel
using to
like
go to
much.
before now.
Eh?
Before to go.
Eh. I
Please
never
stop
used to go.
exposing our age, innocent. Stop.
I know I used to go. I
My
know I used to
guy,
go with people.
stop acting like before to
No,
go.
it's to
You
go.
did not use asking me.
No,
He did not use asking
eh,
me. He did
I
not
didn't
use
use.
Bado.
Bado. I actually didn't use Bado. I
And
knew of
before then,
Bado,
we used
but
Yahoo Messenger.
I also knew that it was a
I used the Yahoo
messy thing,
Messenger.
so I never used
Bado
it.
was messy.
I used the
And
Yahoo
before then,
Messenger.
we used
Yes,
Yahoo Messenger.
Your
We used
messenger.
Hotmail. We used
but
AIM.
I was using Yahoo
Ah,
Messenger to talk to my guys. Now, babes, I dey follow talk before they battered that site and turned it into
which
something
babes?
else. My babes
Guys, stop
now.
acting like you had babe in the past.
This guy.
So I do have just one tiny small problem with WhatsApp. Then I'm blaming the platform. It's just,
Hmm.
I'm not just blaming the platform, I'm blaming social media in general.
Yeah.
Like Clinton said, Clinton is perfectly right. It has warped our expectations. So people suddenly, so when we're growing up, it was absolutely normal to not expect to speak to your friend for weeks on end, right? And it wouldn't change the way you felt about them,
Mhm.
right? But
Yeah.
today, I am perfectly justified if I send you a meme, for example, and you read the message and you don't respond to it. As a Dotani, you're my enemy. Because what do you mean? So you don't regard my message, you don't think I am worthy of a response, but it
Yeah.
could just be that you were busy or life was just,
But from my point of view, are those truly friendships or are they just relationships that people didn't know what to call and they call them friendship? Because
so
part of
again,
what I think of friendship,
I'm sorry I'm cutting you off. But it goes to Clinton's point. I love the way Clinton framed it. It's the fact that it has changed, it has warped expectations that even
Mhm.
within what we know as friendships, Kamak Boro Kamak Jale, right? We are friends with many of, at least our closest friendships, we've known these people for 20 plus years. So
Exactly.
we have evolved from that time till now. And
Now.
you
Yeah.
still see that in many of those kind of relationships, this kind of friendship breaks can still happen. Because,
Yeah.
again, the key thing being that expectations have changed. The friendship hasn't changed fundamentally. You still trust this person, you still love them, but you don't realize it. But essentially, because of social media now, you expect them to be available 24 hours every day. It's
Hmm.
insane, not
But
normal.
I understand that. I understand how that particular access has affected human behavior, and I do blame human
Yes.
behavior for that because. But then also, I don't entirely so think it's a bad thing. I think it's just inability of people to adjust and understand that. See, let me put it like this: if someone was going to be angry at you for not responding to the meme that they sent, then that person would have also had a very tiny reason to be angry at you outside the social media space. Do you
So
understand?
I'm going to just touch on one more thing, and I'm sorry that I'm banging this drum, but it feels like I'm banging a drum that I should stop. But I just want to point out the fact that the social media platforms they reward the things that are
They
antithetical
reward bad
to
behavior.
they reward bad behavior.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
So
But
that's where me I have see I'm dragging them by their shirt. That's where I have my problem with them.
so here's my own take, right? My take actually hinges on the idea that friendships are actually built on experience. And see, when we talk about male and female friendship, for example, right? A lot of time people are like, how is it that you guys just met and you guys feel like you're good friends already? It's because of shared experience, right? If shared experience can make people become friends like that, imagine lived experience, like when you both live through an experience together, right?
Yeah.
And I think that as major life events happen in your life, and if these people are around to witness experience by chance or by plan or whatever, it either deepens the friendship or further shapes and molds what the friendship is like. And then suddenly your friendship is no longer. See, I have friends who we did undergrad together, who I might not speak to for 6 months. And when I pick up the phone, we will abuse ourselves for not speaking to each other for 6 months, and then the conversation will just carry on like it.
Yes.
Do you understand? Because we
Yeah.
know the kind of things we've gone through together. We've lived through like major life events together. And I know I've
Yeah.
mentioned this on previous episodes, but I also have a group of friends who we call ourselves each other's life committee. When things are going too hard for anyone, we call for a meeting, we call for a call, and we discuss these things together. We are
Yeah.
intimate with ourselves like that. We understand what we are going through in that sense. It allows room for vulnerability. I think if you have that, if you've shared life experiences or lived experiences, and or you've shared vulnerabilities, things as little as not responding to messages become background noise. Do you understand? But then I agree with you, Tomwa, because some people are generally funny, and the idea of the social media spaces have rewarded bad behavior a lot. You find validation for behaving like an idiot in
Yeah.
social media space, and because of that, people are going off, and that's the term they use, is you just go off on the person for no reason. Do you understand? So it's for me, it's often a bit of a balancing act when I observe that. But I also know that if what is going to destroy my friendship with someone is the fact that I didn't respond to a meme, then
No,
maybe
no,
we should
no.
keep a bit of a distance already between
Innocent.
ourselves, because
Innocent,
the
wait.
person doesn't understand the possibilities of why I might not have responded at that
No,
time.
no,
Unless if the person is
innocent.
joking with me, then I will understand.
Innocent. It doesn't start it's
Mm-hmm.
not that the non-reply to the meme scattered the friendship. It's that it's from things like that the resentment starts to build. That feeling of no longer being important in this person's life for the person to respond, or feeling of disrespect, or this person doesn't regard me anymore. So it's not a one day thing where you just break, right? It
Yeah.
happens over time. You
Over time.
send the first time, you're always sending messages to this person doesn't reply on time, but the person is reading it or stuff like that. There's a point you get to, you just be like, maybe this person doesn't rate me and I'm the one that is just carrying this friendship on my head or something like that. Now you might not want to feel that way, but the things that are happening just make you start to feel like, you know what, let me just detach a little and face my front, because maybe I'm doing too much, right? And what keeps you still even holding on to a friendship is those lived experiences, like, now my guy be this now and all of that. But there's a point where it starts to look like, maybe this person doesn't want me in his life anymore or something, or just doesn't see me that way anymore. Maybe I should just free. It's those little things, and it's not supposed to be like that, to be honest. But like I said before, social media. Now, in the past, I was trying to compare before. In the past, right, the way friendships were, it was just like, we'll see when we see. And when we see, we have fun. We have a good time. We go out. We create memories. We may not see again for another 2 months. And it's fine. If I don't call you in 1 week, right, it's not a problem, right? But now, because you are seeing me every day tweeting, you start to feel like this guy is always online. It's not actually that busy.
These
It's
guys.
not too
Yeah.
busy to. This person is right here. Why is he not reaching out? Do you get? And those things start to happen. Now, going back to the point about how that person said it's another friendship that is catering to a certain need. That's why you can afford to be a certain way with some friends, low level friendships, or how the person puts it, because someone else is fulfilling that need. I think sometimes we do that with our male and female friendships, right? So because the women are just generally more, I don't know, is it empathetic? They tend to be more empathetic and more. It's not like guys are not. Guys are, right? Guys can be empathetic. Guys will feel because they know where the thing hurts, your foot or whatever. You have lived
Mm-hmm.
experiences together. You can relate to your struggles as men and all of that. But there's a certain dimension that a lot of guys don't want to take it to. That maybe their female friendships help them handle. So the male friendship caters to this side, the female friendships cater to this side, and then everybody just finds a way to balance all of them. To be honest, I have more phone calls with my female friends, my close female friends. We have more phone calls. Like if I start one call now, it can be like 4 hours. We're just talking, right?
Yeah. It's not.
Wait, but the thing is, right? For me,
Yeah.
for me, Clinton,
Oh
for me, that
no.
thing there is, sometimes, and that's the reason why I would argue that a lot of times in male friendships, there are a lot of things we don't discuss because we don't think it's necessary. It's not about the
Yes, I
conversation; it's
agree.
about knowing that you have each other's back. Do you understand?
I agree.
Like
Yes.
it's what's that line from what's that line from Nas's rap? It's like I can't remember. When I remember,
We're not
I'll
that
say it.
old.
But it's like no, it's not that old. It's like a 2010 album. It's Nas the Memali Distant Relatives. They had a
Oh,
song
okay,
there called
okay. I didn't
Friends.
listen to that album like that.
Um, but anyway, it's about like that having your back and not selling each other out, right? And that's important for me also. Then someone tweeted that you have to be deliberate in friendship and not transactional
You have to
friendship.
be.
You have to ask yourself, why do I want to be friends with this person? Is it because of what I might gain materially? If yes, then check yourself, right? So
Yeah.
it's for me, like I said, it's about like you have each other's back and not about the materiality. It's maybe literally be like in case of my life committee, being able to have honest conversations. In the case of some other thing, like the things we've
Yeah.
gone through together. Like someone else tweeted again, friendship is a very undervalued relationship, and you have to be as picky as picking a partner when picking a friend because you have to build friendships on shared value and not on what you might gain from each other.
Well, see, the thing is, I find that with my guys, I'm able to have long conversations. We talk about anything when we are seeing each other, like in person. So, like the way we are now, video calls, or when we sit down, we can spend the whole day together. We're talking about stuff. We can talk about most things, right? My female friendships, I can just do phone calls, and we can have those conversations like for hours and stuff. With my male friendships,
Are you sure your female friendships are
let's
not
hang.
just friend zones?
No, I don't. Me, me,
Are you sure you've not
me.
been perpetually
I
friend
don't.
zoned?
No, it's not friend zone. Okay, here's the thing, right? Many years ago, eh, I got to the point where I realized that I could find someone objectively attractive without being attracted to the person, and that changed everything for me. It changed my life because before that, I was feeling a certain
That probably
pressure.
should have gone into
What
probably should have gone
what
into our
made
30 plus episode because I feel like that's a maturity shift. You
mm,
find
Yes,
someone attractive, but you also say I don't know if it
you're
applies
not
to you,
attracted to
but
the
you know
person.
oh
like
it
this
really
person is
does.
hot, like
Yeah,
but so I wouldn't say
I'm
not
like,
attracted to the person. So
oh
if you
no
find
no,
someone
but
attractive,
just
you're attracted to the person,
like
but
someone like
you're
you
not
said,
objectively like
someone
wanting them. Yeah,
someone
yeah,
sorry,
let's
I'm sorry
let's
to
save this
button
for a
you,
maturity
but
episode because there's literally a line I always tell
yeah,
people. It's something someone tweeted a long time ago, and I
yeah.
tell people every single time they talk about like, this is your friend, and she's fine now, or how many people have you liked? It doesn't fucking matter, right?
it doesn't
But anyway,
matter.
It
it
doesn't
It doesn't
matter
doesn't.
matter.
exactly. So before
Yeah, it,
then,
it
I
really does.
used to put pressure on
Um,
myself. If
yeah.
I found someone attractive, like if I felt the person was attractive, it felt like if I don't find this person attractive, something wrong with me. Like if I'm not actively trying to get this person, maybe something's wrong with me. It reflects badly on me. So, but once I was able to resolve that and understand that it was fine, it changed how my friendships with like women were because then I had women who were my friends. It's just friendship. I think you are hot. In fact, I'm the one that will tell you you are bloody hot. You are this. You are fine as hell and all that. But I'm not trying to be with you or anything. I think that we're just like It's perfect as a friendship and doesn't have to be anything else, right? And then there are women that, of course, I like you. I'll tell you from the first day, Omo, I think you are, what's up? Like, what's happening? You get? And I was able to like compartmentalize, and so that's why my female friendships work the way they do. I think my friendships are very intimate, male and female. I always say that my friendships are very intimate in that there's a certain depth to them. Like, regardless of whether you're male or female, there's a depth to my friendships where there's just something deep about it. Like, this is my guy. Like, and I'll tell you, I love you, man. I love you. I don't care about that. I love you, man. Like, you are. I love you. This is awesome. I won't tell Innocent I love you, Sha. Fuck that guy. But I'll tell her like this.
That's
Ogun won't
innocent
punish.
to talk.
Have you Ogun won't punish you? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't
No, I
love
genuinely love
you.
you. I've loved you for years on end.
I know, I know,
Innocent.
I know. You can
Innocent,
fuck off.
you mean so much to me.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You can never mean
Um,
anything to me.
you're welcome.
Get out
Very
of
much welcome.
here.
But anyway, maybe I should use that to segue into Clinton, shut up. You've been talking. Maybe that's segue into the idea of how then if friendship is all of this and if it's all of this thing you viewed specially and everything, but the thing is human beings human beings fuck up. It is one thing people do best is
Yeah.
fuck up, and this then means betrayal. So how then do you handle such betrayals that come into the friendship? Because people being people, people will mess up. Is it which also like begs this idea of should you always just walk away or should you still stay in it?
Actually, I love this subject because, again, magic word framework. Yeah. Okay, so before I get into it, I'm going to touch on something that many people don't consider when we're talking about friendship. And that is the fact that everyone around you in your life is in a relationship with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And our first friends are actually our family members. We don't realize, right? But as an adult, the family members go, relationships with you should evolve. They should become your friends. If they don't become friendly with your family members, then you have an unhealthy relationship with them. Now, the
Yeah.
difference between your family members and the friends that you pick from school or whatever is that you don't choose your family members. You don't have any choice with regards, their being in your life. You just is a lottery. Some people win the lottery, some people don't. There's a reason why the phrase "black sheep" has persisted till today. It's
Mm-hmm.
because you don't have a choice, and not everybody, conforms to what is considered normal. Right now, when it comes to, I just wanted to make that point. That point is very independent of my answer with regards, betrayal in friendship. Now, when it comes to betrayal in friendship, I have a very clear framework as to regards how I treat betrayal. I consider everybody in my network or in my group or in my friends list, if I can call it that, as capable of betraying me because I also consider myself as capable of betraying them. Because fundamentally, at our core as human beings, we are selfish individuals. We are designed to be selfish. We are designed to choose ourselves first. Every time we do something for someone who is independent of ourselves and our needs and our wants, that is us being selfless. Everything, like something as small as being in a room with someone and the person is watching Game of Thrones and you'd rather watch, I don't know, Big Brother Niger, right?
Blackberry
And
Niger.
and you're like, okay, I'm like, I'll just fold my hand and watch this Game of Thrones with this person. Obviously, not because Game of Thrones is the superior media form, and you have a brain problem if you prefer Big Brother Niger to Game of Thrones, but because you are being selfless, you are choosing to pick your friend or your friend's comfort over yourself. Now, if I, in that same scenario, go and pick the remote and then change it, or maybe, okay, that my friend goes into the bathroom. So I pick the remote and I change it and I go and hide it. I throw it away. That's a legitimate thing that people will do and say it's selfless or it's harmless. And then the friend comes down and is like, "Ah, I don't know, person change up, and I don't even know where the remote is." And then you guys just stick to Big Brother Nigeria because your friend can't put it back in Game of Thrones. That is betrayal. You have betrayed your friend. In fact, if a third party came and changed it, and the third party went away, and you did not volunteer to your friend that, yo, someone changes to Game of Thrones, we can change it back, if you want. You can make that offer. If you don't even do that, that is you being selfish, that is betrayal. I'm expanding. There's a reason why I'm expanding the definition of betrayal before I get into my answer. I'm sorry I'm stealing all this time. Now, to my actual answer. Like I said, I consider everyone capable of betrayal. I consider my definition of betrayal to be very broad. And the reason why I do both of these things is that I understand fundamentally that everyone will betray you at some point in time, for good
Yeah.
reason or bad, right? What I then do is their relationship to me is assessed based on motive slash reason as to why they betrayed me. And I will never assume a motive or a reason. If you don't make a motive or a reason clear to me, and if that motive or reason is not like substantive, I'm not like, okay, you know what, it makes sense. But Will, you are cut off from my life. And I have this thing that I say that anything I lose, right? Anything I lose to a friend's betrayal, right? Anything I lose, whether it's money, whether it's time, whether it's my credibility, whether it's my whatever it is, anything I lose is the price that I've paid for cutting that person out of my life.
Yeah.
It's simple. So if someone scams me of 100,000 naira or 100 million naira, for example, right? I've just paid 100 million naira to make it so that that person will never scam me
Never.
again.
But Tomiwa, isn't that easy to say if you're losing something like 100 million naira as opposed to losing your credibility? Because the
So
the,
yes,
the
of course,
so-called tangibles
of
affect
course,
me.
money is the easiest thing to lose, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, you can't hedge your bets and say, okay, I'm going to like make it so that whatever happens, I can't lose my credibility because I assure you, then you are going to be you are basically being selfish. That's why I expanded my definition of betrayal before I got into my answer. There was a clear reason why. Once you start doing that, you're choosing self and you are being a bad friend. You don't realize you're doing it. It seems harmless, but you are doing it. And it is your prerogative too. Nobody is saying you need to absolutely be the best friend ever. You're not Jesus Christ, okay? You can
Yeah.
pick yourself. Basically, cherry pick when to choose yourself and when not to. But the important thing is you need to acknowledge what you're doing at every point in time. And you also need to acknowledge that everybody else in your life is capable of doing the same thing. So when they do it, if this person then comes back to you and says, okay, yeah, I know I fucked up, but this is why I had to do it, then by all means, if you have the capacity, forgive and react, accept them into your life. But 9 times out of 10, just understand that you've paid a price, but that price means that that thing will never repeat itself again. And it's not just with that friend. It also means that that situation,
Mm-hmm.
when it presents with someone else, you will recognize it. And I've already
And
paid the
you'll be
price
able
for this, man. Even Jesus Christ died once. So who am I? Who am I to lose 100 million to two different people? Why? Peace.
um
That's it.
well,
But
I
anyway,
think
my,
that
my I think my approach to that end. Lindsay, go on. Lindsay, go on.
oh, should I talk? Okay. So there are some very fundamental things. I always say that I'm liberal with my trust, but I know where to draw the line. I always know where to draw the line. And I've lost a few friendships in the past, male friendships. Two specific ones that I lost, I was one that walked away, right? The first one was because the person went into fraud. And I have a zero tolerance for that kind of thing.
Mm.
I was so pissed, I was so mad,
Yeah.
whatever it was. And the person, I mean, it was very obvious that this was what was happening. And the person had
Except
been
for romantic fraud,
ideating
that's the
it.
one you do.
So the person had been
But
ideating it,
no.
and I was telling him that don't do this thing. You don't need this kind of thing in your life. Yes, life is hard, things are tough or whatever. We'll find a way. I don't like fraudsters. I hate them. I hate fraudsters. I hate terrible people. I want the worst for fraudsters, right? And my integrity is very important to me. So it was very easy for me to just be like, yeah, this is it. I can't. So it was obvious that a person had started to dabble into that, and I couldn't take that. I stepped away. That was against my values. Our principles no longer aligned, and I could see how desperate the person was. And the thing with fraudsters is that when there's no more, there's nobody else. They will come after you. You are the next. You are the next person that you're coming for.
Yeah.
You will definitely enter the matter one way or the other. They will come
Mhm.
after you, right? So even just to be able to protect myself in the first place, that was it. But also, imagine hanging out with someone like that or being in the same space with someone like that, and then one day there's a raid somewhere or something. You're plastering my face in front of EFCC. You can't undo that. You can't undo the damage to your reputation for something that you know nothing about just because of your association with this person. And I had to like just create that distance, and I'm done with that. Another person was the one I mentioned
Yeah.
earlier, the unreliable one. But it wasn't just that it was unreliable, it was the fact that there were certain lines that he crossed, not just even with me, but with someone I brought, close to him, right? Someone I brought around that mattered a lot to me, and he crossed the line with that person, and I could not take that anymore. And so for these two people, right, I had to also get to the point where I recognized that they were not the people that I became friends with anymore. Because that's something that's usually very hard. I have friends who still try hard to keep up some friendships that they should have let go of a long time ago. And the reason why they're trying hard to do it is because they still believe in the humanity of the person that they are trying to be friends with. Still believing that, still seeing them as those people that they became friends with back then, right? They just feel like, oh, this person just lost his way. There's still a way to. But one thing I'm very good at is knowing when someone has crossed a certain line and cannot uncross it anymore. Like this person is gone. And the first person I had to do that with was actually myself, right? Because growing up, I was a certain way. Then things happened in my life and I changed completely. I became a different person. I didn't lose the core of my personality or who I was, but I just became a different person. I grew up religious, for instance. I grew up, the romantic, music could move me, stuff like that. I was that kind of guy. I was a soft guy, right? And then things happened in my life and I became a different kind of person, right? Even though I kept the core of who I was. And I found that I kept trying to find that guy, that old guy, the old me. I kept trying to reconnect with that guy, to be that guy again, even though that guy was basically dead and long gone. Instead of accepting that, okay,
It
this
was
is
done.
who I am now, and working, within that and working with that and trying to mold and curate something else, right? I was still searching for that old guy, still searching for the things that I felt could awaken that old guy until I got to a point where I realized that that guy is gone. I need to stop searching for the old me. I need to embrace the new me and make the new me the best possible me that I can be. Now, when I now started to encounter friendships where this person is no longer this guy that you used to hang around and create these memories and all of that. This person is a different person. And this new person that this person is not a good person. It was a very difficult thing to have to recognize. This person is not a good person anymore. This is not the same person. This person is this now. A terrible person now. This person's values have changed completely. So I had to be able to do that and recognize that, like, okay, this person, this is not the person I became friends with, and I don't like this new person that this person has become, and I cannot relate to this person anymore. I cannot be in the same space with this person. Our values do not align anymore. Our principles don't, like, there's no longer anything that should bring us together. The only thing that I'm holding on to is nostalgia. And when you get to that point, you know that yeah, it's time to just end this friendship and move. And that's the same thing that I keep telling some people. I have close friends that are still holding on to the memories of a friendship that is long gone. And so it makes them very vulnerable because they are being used and I can see it. And I'm telling them, this person is just using you. This person is no longer your friend. This person is just using you at this point. But you are still holding on to that old idea of what this person used to be. So I think that with like ending friendships, of course,
Or
there are
what you
people
knew,
that
or what you thought you knew.
yeah, there are people that you just look at and you be like, you know what, this is no longer this person. And you have to be able to accept it and move on. You have to, I mean, there are some people that you loved once. They're not the same person anymore. Yeah.
But Clint, Famiwa, it's one thing to talk about like the that's end of friendship about when it gets betrayally, and when you might need to end it. But then there's also the other part about celebrating friendship and all that it brings. Someone tweeted, Fumikoka tweeted, we need to celebrate friendships just like we celebrate romantic relationships.
Yes.
Appreciate genuine friendship. Show off your friends just like you show off your partners. I told someone something recently that I lack a lot of things in life, but I don't lack are friends that are really doing shit. Like I told the person, I don't even mind saying I'm like, that TLC song. I don't wanna scrub, Abby.
Yeah.
This scrub.
I don't
I'm like,
want
I
no
am the scrub. It's
scrubs.
fine because when I start talking about scrub is yeah, hanging on the passenger side of his best friend's ride, try to holler. Yeah, we know before they demonetize it. My point is, I'm very happy. I'm very happy to go on and on about my friends. Like, oh, this friend does this friend does that. In fact, something I tell people is I love introducing people. Like, actually, like when two people who are my friends meet, being the one to say, A meets B, B is a this, and this. B meets A is a this, and this. That is the way, in my own way, that I celebrate them. And there are many ways of celebrating your
That is
friends.
valid,
There are
yeah.
people who would randomly send you money. Right? And I will randomly just send you good, like appreciative notes. My own preferred way is I never tire using my friends to other friends and letting them know why this person is someone to know.
I mean, I never tire of introducing my friends
To
to
women.
buddies that can marry them. The buddies that can marry them.
We'll meet after the service.
I'm also okay. So, but on a serious note, I
Mm-hmm.
like. I think one of my strongest love languages is introducing my friends to things that I love, and I usually manifest as movies and TVs and TV
Mm.
shows. Yeah, and it's interesting. You know the point I made about you need to be friends with your family members, right?
Mm-hmm.
So okay, myself and my youngest brother, for example, yeah, me, we have a very good relationship. We talk on the phone, not as often as I like, but we talk on the phone. Same with my younger sister. But with Yemi, we also have a dimension where we kind of like the same things in terms of TV shows and music. So every time he sees something that he knows I would like, he sends it to me. It doesn't matter what medium, whether it's on WhatsApp, whether it's on Instagram. So I will credit him. Yeah, I didn't start watching anime till I was in my 30s. And
But
the
that was
reason
like 30
why,
years ago.
fuck, and the reason why we never really like got into anime was that I just couldn't get into the fact that so anime is this thing where they balance the seriousness with this levity. There's this jokey part, and it just used to annoy me. I felt like if you're telling a serious story, tell the serious story. If you're telling a funny story, tell the funny story. But apparently, what I needed was I just needed a soft landing, and that soft landing was Shinjekin. God, I'm a horrible anime fan. I can't remember the Japanese name, but the English name
Thank
is
God.
Attack on Titan. And
Okay.
Yemi literally ran a year-long campaign to get me to watch that show. He was on my case. He was like, "You have to watch this. You have to watch this. You have to watch this." And eventually, and the great thing about Attack on Titan is that you don't need prep time. Once you watch the first episode, you are hooked. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter your background. It doesn't matter where you are from in life. Once you can get from minute one to the final minute of episode one, forget it. Go see. It's not a play. You are hooked. Immediately I got into it, I couldn't stop. And immediately I got into it, I texted him like, why do I need to force me to watch this thing? He's like, I've been telling you, like I know. But my point is, that's not the kind of conversation that you would usually associate with a younger brother, especially as a Nigerian man, where you're supposed to be like, kilo share in school, or So, uh, and that's actually another conversation, siblings and the dynamics. But at the core of it, I love sharing things that I love with my friends, Yemi inclusive, and Yemi also loves sharing the things that he loves with his friends, myself inclusive. And I appreciate it. I mean, I do it with you guys on Twitter as well. And you guys do it with me too. So that's it. That's like my hardcore way of celebrating my friends, just ensuring that I feel like so. Okay, maybe something I should just add is that I know that okay, there are certain things that I like that Innocent or Clinton might not like, and I also sift that. So I'm not just flooding you with everything that I like. But the
Mhm.
stuff I know that I enjoy and that you enjoy, or the stuff that I know that I want to discuss and you would love to discuss. I'm making sure that it's getting to you, and I'm making sure that we are having a conversation about it. And it is my own way of hacking connection, making sure that we are always connected. That's
Hmm.
it.
Anyway, we need to sign off. Clinton, what are your final thoughts? Let's go Clinton to one, and then I'll wrap it up. Clinton, what are your
Well,
final thoughts?
my final thoughts are that male
Mm-hmm.
friendships are what we make
No
them. I mean,
friendships.
there's a lot of talk about it and how we don't really do certain things, we don't express, we're not as free and everything. I think that generally we curate it according to the dynamics with different people, and it's just always unique depending on who you are relating with and the personality types and how they come together. But for my friendships, I know that I love my friends a lot, and different friends give me different feelings, and all of them are amazing, right? The feeling I get here, the feeling I get here, the feeling I get here, amazing. And I make sure that everything comes down to this: values, principles. I only keep people around that I align with on at least some basic things that are non negotiable. Outside of that, no. And that said, despite social media and how it can warp expectations of friendships and of how friendships should be, and sometimes even reading things on social media put ideas in your head that you may not even really believe, but you don't even realize that you are buying into it, right? Certain things people say about friendships, about this, you just find yourself a bit paranoid, untrusting, all of that. So I would say that people should try to guard themselves and constantly review the things that they are taking in and believing and accepting without like realizing it. They need to like really think about what they are reading and taking in, because sometimes it can affect your friendships. It's just like this thing that is happening with relationships now. When a girl tweets that, wow, that was a very long sleep, I can't believe I slept for 12 hours, and then someone says, hi, this person is trying to have plausible deniability, with their relationships. And it starts to affect the way you see things, right? Because now your girlfriend just told you that she was asleep last night. That's why she didn't pick your call. And all of a sudden, because of what you've been reading on social media, that you didn't even realize you were accepting into your subconscious. You're not looking at her funny, like maybe she was with another guy. Meanwhile, she's actually telling the truth, right? So that can also, happen in friendships when they make you feel like all your friendships have to be transactional. Like, because that's been happening a lot on social media nowadays, your friendships have to be transactional. They frame it that way. Like if you're not getting something from this person and all of that. But really, at the end of the day, it comes back to you. You get to decide how your friendships go and what you're getting out of your friendships. And you don't have to be getting anything out of the friendship that is monetary or anything like that. Sometimes it's just the vibes. You just really like this person around, and that's okay. So, also remember to tell your friends you love them because it matters. Express yourself. I like when men are expressive.
I'm literally going into our WhatsApp group now. I'm going to tell them I love you guys.
And they're going to think you're crazy.
Innocent
Yeah, where is
is
this coming from?
best impression of this man. This Nollywood man with the very deep voice. You see, Alex Isiogu or something like that.
Alex Sifo.
Or C4, yes. He's like, Alex Osifo. Tell your friends you love them. I love you.
Yeah, so that's my submission. Tell your friends you love them, male or
Oh,
female.
Lord.
It's fine. Yes. I mean, you say you love your
So,
football
Samuel, over to
coaches,
you.
your football players. You say you love
Yes.
Messi and Ronaldo.
No,
Why can't you say tell
I
your
don't
guy?
love any football coach. Oh. I don't love Messi or Ronaldo. How about that?
Just say
No,
what?
me, I say this without compunction. I love Bukayo, Ayoyinka, Saka. I was going to tweet about this earlier during the week. I'm sorry for going off tangent, but I'll say it here. I've never really understood football fans when they said that, or when they say that they're going to follow a footballer to another club if they move. I'd never understood it until
Until
Bukayo,
Kaka.
Ayoyinka. I will not begrudge him. So number one is I won't begrudge him if he leaves Arsenal for another club, and
He goes there and wins trophy.
especially if he goes there and win trophies. But even without, he he has done it. Like he has busted his thoughts for the club. So no, that boy.
So, is that your final words? Talking about Bukayo Saka.
Actually, it goes a lot deeper than that. But anyways, yes, I think my final words would be it's a lesson. It's something I'm taking away where I need to like actively acknowledge and tell my friends that I love them, that I appreciate the work that they're doing, in their lives and in my life, and then actively just it doesn't come naturally, like check in and then make sure that I'm there. But whenever it comes, I make sure that I do, and then just be more. So not just I have a tendency to almost check in like almost like a business meeting. So I'm checking in and then I want to get updates. I want to share updates. I want to share.
Mhm.
I want to share feedback. I want them to share feedback, and boom, next cycle. So just doing all that, none of that is bad, but also ensuring that I am sharing like my love for them, for the people that they are. Yeah, so yeah, that's it.
All right. As for me, my final words is basically
And
be
for
a
Bukayo
quote.
too. Thank you.
Words
And
would be a
Mikel
quote.
Amatren Ateta, but that's a conversation for another day.
Somebody will fight. Anyway. So my final words is a quote by James Baldwin. I think it's from his work, nothing personal. It's a quote by James Baldwin. It says, the longer I live, the more deeply I learn that love, whether we call it friendship or family or romance, is the work of mirroring and magnifying each other's lights. And that is what I think friendship basically hinges on. If we are able to deeply magnify each other's lights, then some of those tiny little things become something we can easily move beyond. When acts of betrayals present themselves, possibility of betrayals present themselves, we're able to approach it in a much more understandable way because we are working towards mirroring each other's life. And it's friendship is love, in that sense. So that's my word for the day. Belated happy best friends day to everyone out there who might have celebrated or doesn't give a fuck. about it. I naturally don't give a fuck about international holidays. It just gives me an excuse for something. But that's my final thoughts. Thank you, everyone. If you're able to join us, this goes out on audio format and video format on YouTube. Goes out on Spotify and anywhere you might listen to your podcast, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Podcasts, anywhere you find it there. If you're on YouTube, like, share, subscribe, comment. Any podcast host where you listen, give us a comment. We'll look out for it. We'll try and read it. And if you have ideas of what you want us to discuss, go out to the TikTok pod on social media and send us a note there. We'll work on it and we'll try and incorporate it into the next episode. And maybe we'll give you a shout out if we have time for that. But anyway, from me, it's good night. From Tomiwa,
It's au revoir. Auf
from
Wiedersehen.
Clinton.
Bye bye.
And from
From
Clinton,
Clinton.
Amut Valencia.
And from Innocence, it's ignore what Clinton just said. Good night, everyone, and see you on the next episode. Wait. Clinton, what's our next episode?
We're going to be talking about the male ego because we mentioned it in the episode about masculinity, and we said we're going to talk more about it some other time. So we're going to talk about it next one. Should be fun.
All right. See you next episode where we'll talk about the male ego. Bye.